guys, this is me, Owen from Research is Broken, and in this video, I am going to have a deep dive with the newest faction in Warhammer 40k, the Emperor's Children, and specifically I am going to review their recent Codex. So I'm not just going to take a look at their army rules, I'm also going to take a look at their combat patrol rules, their narrative rules, and especially the one that I'm most interested in is their lore. So before we continue with the review, I think there should be some three things I would like to straighten out. So one, my bias is that when I got this Codex, I am more on the lore guy over the rules, because let's be honest, if I just want the rules, there are, freer way to acquire it. And then, as for the lore though, I want to know how the faction functions in the setting. What are the Emperor's Children up to? And especially with some of the lore write-ups in the other codex, I really want to know how the writers have done it. Did they F it up or is it awesome? So yeah, that's how I am looking at the codex. Then another thing I want to clarify is that in reality, I am far more enjoying AOS over 40k right now. But that's because when I play AOS factions, I can feel like I'm actually playing the Flesh-Eater Courts, the Soul Blights. And honestly, I'm not enjoying the Hedonites right now because their drawback, you see, when they make the Slaanesh faction for some reason, GW wants me to play black-red, meaning very powerful abilities but very heavy drawback. And unfortunately, right now, Hedonites of Slaanesh have this very big drawback. So when I heard that they were going to make the Emperor's Children right now, and when I was playing Chaos Demon back then, I didn't really like it. It got me pulled in back into the game, and I want to see if I can enjoy this faction. Oh, and finally, before I forget, if you like me to review other books written by GW or other books from tabletop games, please don't forget to leave a like in the video. So, enough edging, let's now go into the book. So I want to give a bird's eye view at looking at the army of the Emperor's Children in the tabletop game. They currently use the Thrill Seekers army rule, and I really love it. It's very powerful, allowing your units to run and charge or disengage and charge. But at the same time, this ability has a drawback. I think for the first time, GW has had a balanced writing in a Slaanesh faction that has a very powerful ability, at the same time a big, well, not really a big drawback, but a clear drawback. And I like the fine line that they've written here in Emperor's Children. Good work, guys. And this army, you've got 6 detachments. But really, the way I look at it, there are 3 main themes among the 6 detachments. So there are 3 detachments that loves to come forward and then charge and hit your opponent. You've got 2 detachments that their flavor is more on the pride or arrogant nature of the Emperor's Children and anyone who follows Slaanesh. Then finally, the 6th detachment is more on the connection with the Emperor's Children and the Slaanesh Deamons. Alright, so let's take a look at the first Smash detachment, and that's the Mercurial Hosts. Their ability allows them to reroll advanced rolls. I really like it because couple it with Thrill Seekers, your unit has a very good chance of having a long jump towards your opponent and then punching those squishy units out of the game. And then another thing that I like about this detachment is that it's very versatile. If you want to get away from a dangerous unit, you can use it too. And then if you want to build an army that is not really just smash, instead you want to build a shooting army, it's very possible because of your thrill seeker ability. There's a lot of things you can do with Mercurial Hosts. I love this detachment. So for enhancements, there are two enhancements that I really like. Tactical Perfection. I really love the mind games that you can put with this enhancement because you can pick up the two units and then redeploy them after all the deployed units have been made. So you can make your opponent think, are you really going to put it in a very precarious situation? Or are you just going to redeploy it? And then for the other enhancement, it's going to be Loathsome Dexterity. This allows your unit that has no flying to go through your opponent's units. Very useful for an army that barely has any units that can fly. And then for stratagems, Violent Excess is very useful. It gives you sustained hits 1. Combat Stims and Capricious Reaction ensures that your unit can survive. It's not really as powerful as other stratagems from other faction, but really, Emperor's Children let's just consider as a baseline their Space Marines. This faction barely has any defensive capabilities, and I'm surprised that in this detachment you get at least 2 defensive stratagems. The other 3 stratagems is more on moving your units, different fixie movement that you can apply. So continuing on with the Smash detachments, we are now going to the Peerless Bladesmen. Their detachment ability once again works well with the Thrill Seekers. I really like it. And if you're the type of guy who likes the flawless blades, then this army is the one you should pick. And I don't blame you, man. Those models are really good. Now for my top 2 picks for their enhancement, I've got to go with Faultless Opportunist. The chance to have heroic intervention for free, really good. And then Distortion turns your Demon Prince of Slaanesh into a powerhouse, a melee powerhouse. Oh yeah. And then for the downside with this detachment, it's gotta be a very expensive stratagem-wise detachment because you've got 2 stratagems that are worth 2 CP. Death Ecstasy and Cut Down the Weak, and they're really good. But the problem is, do you have the CP to spend it? I don't know, man. It's up to you. So, the final Smash detachment is Rapid Evisciration. And if you like tanks and Space Marines inside a tank, this one's for you. Now, what it does is that your units that charges after being disembarked gets a bonus. And if you're thinking, why would I pick this detachment when my Slaanesh units can just run and charge? have to consider that many of your core units, they don't have any deep strike ability, so you can't put them on strategic reserves. And even from other detachment, you're still gonna end up using tanks to keep your core units from being shot at, especially in the crucial first turn roll and you fail it. So if you find yourself relying, or if you want to use more tanks, this is the detachment for you. For the top pick of enhancement, I've got to go with Spirit Striker because of its ability to combo well with the detachment ability. Really good. For stratagems, all of the stratagems in this detachment allows you to do more tricks with your tanks. So for the top two, I've got to go with Onto the Next and a Flanking Strike because this gives you versatility in movement throughout all the battlefield. In Onto the Next, you get a free embark after on a fight phase. If your unit can do it legally. And then a Flanking Strike makes your tank go to strategic reserve. Really powerful, in my opinion. Alright, we're done with the Smash and Bash detachments. Let's now go to the Pride theme detachment. So the first one I'd like to cover is the Coterie of the Dam. I consider these detachments to be a win more type of detachment. What I mean by that is that as long as you succeed on your pledge per round, you get a pledge bonus which gives a army-wide buff. So really, in this detachment, you're trying to get as fast as possible to 7 kills so that even your weak infantry unit becomes a combat monster. For the top enhancement, I got to go with Pledge of an Unholy Fortune. Just that free auto hit, even though it's just one free auto hit, I consider it to be a big bull. But I really like Pledge of Eternal Servitude plus Demon Prince on foot combo because allowing the Demon Prince to have one survivability and death, I think it's a very interesting combo at the very least. For stratagems, I don't really have a favorite topic for offensive, but I do find it interesting that two of the best defensive stratagem in the book is found in this detachment, and that's Protection of the Dark Prince and Armor of Abhorrence. Then I really like Unbound Arrogance because it allows you to play with your pledge to Slaanesh. Overall, even though this detachment is for high tier players, because what I mean by high tier players is I do not suggest this for anyone who's new to this faction or this army. If you have enough time to play, then you've got a better chance of winning this Coterie. But overall, I really like this detachment. On the second Pride theme detachment is Slaanesh Choosen. So this centers around your characters. They all get a buff. Your warlord immediately gets to be the chosen of Slaanesh. And I think this is a very fun detachment. And there is actually a way for you to control which character gets to be chosen because it only procs once per turn. And for the top enhancement, I've got to go with Eager to Prove. Free charge reroll is just too powerful in my opinion. Well, it's too useful, I mean. And then for stratagems, these are all character centered, so the all the stratagems in this detachment messes or enhances with your characters. For the top pick, I find heightened jealousy to be very funny because it buffs all the other characters that have not been chosen the moment one of your character becomes chosen. For the sixth detachment, this is the Carnival of Excess. So, for the 500 detachment, I've been gushing over how much I like them for different reasons. Carnival of Excess is one detachment that I really don't like. Boo! So, this is one detachment that allows you to mix and match with the Deamons. And if the rumors are correct, the Chaos Deamons will be removed in the 11th edition. I do not like how they implemented it. For one thing, you can't put all the Chaos Slaanesh Demon in this detachment. So a lot of the characters that you bought are not gonna be usable here. So I hope those rumors are not true because I bought some characters. I'm not saying that the detachment ability sucks. I can actually see a way to play it, and it can be fun to balance your mortals with the demons and how they would work together. But how it's implemented, it's just downer, man. I don't like this detachment in principle and what they did with the Chaos Demons. So let's talk about the data sheets or the roosters that you can pick for your army. So let's focus first on the Legion specific unit that you can put in your army. So all the units of in the Legion specific, in my opinion, they're very interesting. They're useful in any of the detachment that I've talked about previously, and even the one model that I don't like, which is the Cacophonist, has its uses when you put them with the noise marines. So, rules-wise, I think all of them are very interesting. They've got a use, really. I don't see any of them to be just on the bit. But model-wise, I want to talk about each of them further. So, full grave reconfigured, I know it's very controversial. I've seen the Horus Heresy model, and I do agree. The Horus Heresy model is very stunning. And compared to the Fulgrim Transfigured, he looks more glorious, really. But I still do like the Fulgrim, the 40k version, because he's the type of model, the look, the face he has is the type of degenerate that has spent 10k. I mean, he looks good after 10k of debauchery, so I can really see him look like that. So that's why I like it. For Lucius the Eternal, if you compare the previous model, really light years ahead. For the battle line, which are the let me remember them, Tormentors and Infractors. Aside from the aside from the symbols, you know, the Space Marine, I do like the faultless blade though. Very interesting looking. I even like the cone-headedness because if you paint it right, they can get the Hellraiser vibes to it. So, Lord Antiphonus, why I don't like this guy? So, from all the other models. If you look at the upper portion, I don't have a problem with it. But once you reach on his legs, it looks like the model has done it in leg day. So that's why I don't like it. Only the model. But rules-wise, I like it. So let's now look at the Chaos from the Chaos Marine models that you can get. Demon Prince of Slaanesh really looks good. The model has a big glow from the previous one. So I'm just gonna talk about the ones that are useful for me. So Demon Prince of Slaanesh, the Chaos Pawn, really funny because he has OC1 and then the ability to run away if your opponent tries to go near it. So that I can imagine that model to be very, very annoying. And then I like also the tanks because you're gonna need them to rush through and protect your units from being shot up. So those are the things, the four models. So Demon Prince, Slaanesh, the Chaos Pawn, and the two tanks. So next we've got the Slaanesh Deamons. So without a doubt, rules wise, no, model wise, I mean, they all look good. What I hate about it is the rules. So either the Deamons have the same rules from the Codex, or, no, not Codex, the Index, or they're worse in the Index. So really, either same or worse. This is an option, my friend. So these are bad. To the next section of the book, which is the Combat Patrol. So in the Combat Patrol, you get one Lord Exultant, a 10-man squad of Infractor, and 2 units of Flawless Blades. So when you play them in the game, you've got an option. You either go ham with your Flawless Blades and chop the dangerous units from your opponent, or you can run around and do objectives. It's enhanced by the fact that your secondary objectives and stratagems play to that idea of either running all over the place, doing the objective game, or pumping up your Flawless Blade to kill the dangerous unit of your opponent's first, and then finishing off the rest. Now, aside from the Combat Patrol rules, because let's be honest, it's the least interesting part of it, I want to talk about the match play value of the box. So, if you build the match play value to the most expensive point to it, you'll get 460 points only. So in my country, it's worth 7,000 pesos. I'm gonna put it here in the screen how much it's worth in dollars. But man, that's way too low points in army when you compare it to Age of Sigmar. It's really one of the reasons why I prefer Age of Sigmar, because when you buy Spearhead, it's got more points compared to Combat Patrol and 40k. Let's now go to the highlight of the rules section of the game, which is the Crusade Rules. For me, this is the most fun and interesting part of the rules in the book, because I really like the idea that in the Crusade Rules, the Emperor's Children has a drawback. Now, I talked about the drawback before, earlier in the video, but this one, it really works well because your army will get a withdrawal if they don't get any drugs. And you get a free drug in the first game They call it, well, it's not called drugs, it's called elixir, but we both know what it is. And what I really find funny is that if you give them the same elixir from your previous game, they also will get bored and get the same debuff. So when you play the game, you're not only trying to win against your opponent, but you're also trying to collect components so that you can make a different elixir in the next game. Now there are two types of elixir. It's the arm elixir first that buffs all your units, and then you've got personal elixir which buffs an individual character. This is really a funny highlight in the game. The rest of the rules like the agenda, requisition, battle trades, crusade relic, well, it would have been easy. That's it. Well, it would have been easy for the writers to just put a Slaanesh flavor to it. I do appreciate that there is identity to it. When you start to read them and then you realize that it plays different once you use them, I really enjoy reading the rules in the Crusade. Now, if I do have one complaint is that they have a unique tracking sheet for the elixir and the ingredients. I would have really preferred that. They also had a unique tracking sheet for the Order of Battle and the Crusade card so that all my sheets would look the same, pimped out like the Emperor's Children. We finally reached the lore section of the book, and the TLDR version of it is, I don't like it. So, what I don't like about the lore section of this book is that we barely go deep into the lore. Like, sure, you know about the units of this faction, but they don't talk about the other characters that are not modeled. So I know, we both know that Fulgrim and Lucius are not the only important character. There are other important characters, and you don't find that in this book. And then, yes, I do like how terrifying the drugs they take among the Emperor's Children, and how terrifying the ingredients are and the process to create it. Some of them have a very dangerous way of even applying it. But what I don't like is that you don't know anything about how they operate. How do the Emperor's Children go from planet A to planet B? How do they create new Emperor's Children? Or do they create new Emperor's Children? Or are they just copies from the veterans of the Long War? And then it doesn't answer questions I have about the faction. That's why I don't like the lore in this book. Alright, I've covered the meat part of this book, and my final verdict about this book, is it worth it? It really depends, do you plan to buy this for the convenience of the rules? Then yeah, it's worth it. But I suggest to only get the regular version of this book because this is the special edition with the classic artwork with the pink cover protection, page protection, I mean. This book, I do not recommend buy this book alone. I got this from the army box set that they have, and If the only reason you should get this book, you it's because you got the army box set. And then there is the collector's edition, which unless you want to fork a lot of money for nerd blinging around, in my opinion, it's not a worthy product based on what's inside this book. Yeah, that's it. If you like how I reviewed it, if you've got some opinions, if I've convinced you to become an Emperor's student, don't forget to post it on the comments below. So until next time, this is Owen saying bye.